7, Mr. Speaker. If you have a copy of your Constitution, let's look at it together. The Speaker, 127 talks about the independence of the judiciary. 1272 says that neither the President, nor Parliament, nor any person acting under the authority of the President or Parliament, nor any other person whatsoever shall interfere with judges or judicial officers or other persons exercising judicial power in the exercise of their judicial functions. And all organs and agencies of the state shall accord to the courts such assistance as the courts may reasonably require to protect the independence, dignity, and effectiveness of the courts subject to this Constitution. Mr. Speaker, if you look at our standing orders, it is also clear on your functions and your responsibilities as a Speaker. Let's go to Order 20. Mr. Speaker, Order 20 is clear that the Speaker shall uphold the honor, dignity, and sanctity of the House. Mr. Speaker, the maker of the statement has been convicted by a High Court. Convicted by a High Court. I have read it in the papers. I have read it on social media. And he wants to come and stand in this chamber and make statements so that this House will be telling the courts that it doesn't matter what you do. Mr. Speaker, it doesn't uphold the dignity and honor of this House. It doesn't uphold the dignity and honor of this House. That he has been convicted by the courts, and indeed, the basis of his conviction is a conduct in this chamber. The basis of his conviction is the conduct in this chamber. When he was cautioned that if he insisted and had himself sworn in as a member of Parliament in the face of a restraining order by a court, if the court came after him, he will be accountable alone. We will not be part of it. This was made very clear in this chamber. And he took it upon himself to take the risk. And then he was ready to take responsibility for his conduct. Mr. Speaker, it's time for him to go and account for his conduct. But to come and stand in this chamber and we will all participate in sitting here and listening to him make a statement as if the courts are nothing. Mr. Speaker, I'm not ready to be part of it. So I have strong objections to him reading a statement in this chamber because the courts have convicted him. He should go and appeal against the conviction, have it set aside, and come back. And we have a duty as a House to uphold the dignity, the integrity, and the respect of our courts and the rule of law. He is aware. Your leader on several occasions told the Speaker that even if he was not served, once he became aware of a decision of the courts, the Speaker must act on the basis of becoming aware. So it's not a question of whether he has been served. He is aware that the courts have convicted him. He is aware that the courts have convicted him. And he wants to come and stand in this chamber and make a statement. I cautioned. I said, don't do that. Don't make a statement. So, Mr. Speaker, we have strong objections.
Yes, Minority Leader. I'm a Minority Chief Whip.
Let me allow my colleague.
Afterwards, you wouldn't comment, please. This is not a matter of debate. I'm giving the opportunity to you because you are a leader.
Speaker, first of all,
once you yield it.
Speaker, this is a subject matter which is very important as legal jurisprudence of our parliamentary democracy, and also in respect of separation of powers. It's important, Speaker, we educate ourselves on this matter. And Speaker, I will defer to you. If it is the case that when he speaks, I will not speak, so be it. But I thought that he, being an industry person, we should hear his side or what input he can bring to the matter at table, and then we can conclude on it.
Saying, what I'm saying is,
Speaker, with greatest respect to our colleagues, when the leader was speaking, we all paid attention and listened to him in silence. Why can't you listen to our side in silence? Why? Or the parliament of this republic is one-sided? Is this parliament only one-sided? It's not right. Anytime we are on our speak, you want to interfere. Why? When the leader was speaking, we listened to him. You have to stop this. It doesn't help. Speaker, my point is, please, the greatest of respect, and I'm saying this because we were at conclave, we engaged on same subject matter, and Speaker, you decided to admit the statement. You were not under duress. Speaker, you exercised your powers to admit, and the admission of statement is in the bosom of the Speaker. So the Speaker has admitted a statement, and upon hindsight, some concerns comes up. We all have to bear patience and listen. Speaker, on this note, I pray you that we listen to our colleague. When he's done and you find it needful to listen to me, so be it. Otherwise, we can proceed.
Yes.
Mr. Speaker,
allow. Stand tall. Stand tall.
you wish you could also stand.
Stand tall.
You wish you could also stand.
Stand tall.
Mr. Speaker, I'm very grateful for the opportunity. Mr. Speaker, I am also very grateful to the
Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, I'm also very grateful to the Minority Chief Whip. I am also very grateful.
Honorable members, why?
Mr. Speaker.
Keep quiet.
Mr. Speaker, I am also very
I have
grateful.
asked him to speak on behalf of the leadership. So afterwards,
What is that?
Mr. Speaker, I am also very grateful to the Minority Chief Whip, who is keen on seeing to the development of his first-timers. Minority Chief Whip, may you live long. Mr. Speaker, it is important we emphasize that the principle of separation of powers does not mean that Parliament is inferior to the judiciary. It is very important. The protection which is given by the Constitution, in the same token, hey, you are saying that the African wear is improper dressing. Hey, Mr. Speaker, in the same token, the Constitution also protects parliamentarians. The same token, the Constitution also protects parliamentarians. Mr. Speaker, when you look at Article 117 of the 1992 Constitution, is one of the means by which the Constitution protects parliamentarians. Mr. Speaker, with your indulgence, if I may read, civil or criminal processes coming from any court or place not of Parliament
shall not be served or executed in relation to the Speaker or a member or the clerk to Parliament while he is or on his way to attending or returning from or any proceedings of Parliament. Mr. Speaker, the standing orders, Mr. Speaker, even does the job. Starting from Order 25, which is titled Matters Relating to Criminal Processes. Mr. Speaker, it is very important that we emphasize that contempt proceedings are quasi-criminal. In other words, it is like criminal. Mr. Speaker, when you look at Order 25.3, it says that where a member of or the clerk to Parliament is convicted by a court of competent jurisdiction, the registrar of the court shall within 12 hours after the conviction inform the Speaker of the conviction. Mr. Speaker, do you have any notice from the court? No. Mr. Speaker, do you have any notice from the court? No. Mr. Speaker, it is very important. Mr. Speaker, it is very important that we do not go searching newspapers. We do not go looking at newspapers or listening to news to be finding out which member of Parliament has been convicted. Mr. Speaker, that is not our job. Our job, very respectfully, is to come and represent our constituents in Parliament and serve as legislators. Mr. Speaker, if there is any conviction, same will be served on you. Until that is done, Mr. Speaker, very respectfully, it does appear that what we are being fed in this house by the distinguished, by the venerable majority leader, would thus appear to be a hearsay. Very respectfully, Mr. Speaker, Parliament does not dabble in ake. Yes, say. Parliament does not dabble in ake. Yes, say. Mr. Speaker, unless there is notice, very respectfully, what has been brought before you, Mr. Speaker, would seem to be ake. Yes, say. Mr. Speaker, Order 25, Rule 5 says that failure of the registrar to inform the Speaker constitutes contempt of Parliament. Mr. Speaker, it may seem that the majority leader is bringing to your attention contempt of Parliament by the registrar of the court. If there is any such conviction, is that what the majority leader is doing before the court? Venerable majority leader, distinguished majority leader, is it that you are bringing to the attention of the court contempt of court by the registrar of the court? Or are you now the registrar? Very respectfully, Mr. Speaker, in the circumstance of this, Mr. Speaker, this Parliament cannot trade in ake to disenfranchise or disallow a member of this house from performing his legislative duty. Very respectfully, Mr. Speaker, I'm very grateful. And in conclusion, I want to thank again the Venerable Anodompre, the MP for Nsewoma Dwejiri, for the encouragement he's giving to the backbenchers. Honorable, we are grateful.
Yes. Mr. Speaker, the honorable member who just spoke, he cited Order 25 of our standing orders. Mr. Speaker, Order 25, 24 deal with the service of processes. We're not talking about the service of processes. We're not. Mr. Speaker, secondly, Order 25 talks about detention. Subject to Order 24, where a member of or the clerk to Parliament, where a member, please listen, where a member of or the clerk to Parliament is restricted, detained, or arrested, the person responsible for the restriction, detention, or arrest shall within 6 hours of the restriction, detention, or arrest inform the speaker of the restriction, detention, or arrest. Has the man been arrested? Has he been restricted? Has he been detained? So how does Order 25 come into play? Mr. Speaker, here we are talking about, Mr. Speaker, here we are talking about a conviction. A conviction. He has been convicted. He has been convicted. Mr. Speaker, I know because he is defending his right to speak here, because he says that even if he has been convicted, if we have not been properly served, then we should not deny him a right to speak in this chamber. That's what he's saying. He is not denying that he hasn't been convicted. Nobody in this chamber is denying that he hasn't been convicted, because they know he has been convicted. It is public knowledge. It is common knowledge. It's been covered widely by the media. And my argument is that this house must respect a coordinate branch of government. We will not arrest him and hand him over to the judges. We will not arrest him and hand him over to the prisons authorities. But we will not condone him coming here and boldly making statements on the floor of this house as if we don't care about the judiciary and what they are doing. It doesn't speak well of the rule of law. There's somebody who knows very well that he has been convicted by the courts for a conduct that he engaged in this house. And we caution him in this house. We say, look, there is a court order restraining you from being sworn in. If you refuse and you allow us to swear you in, you will be held accountable. And he said, yes, he's ready to be held accountable. Now he has been held accountable by the courts, and he wants to come and use this parliament as a shield. Mr. Speaker, it won't happen. This side will not allow that. We will not allow him to make the statement on this floor, because he has been convicted by the courts. At least he should go and file an appeal. He should file an appeal. He should seek to stay the execution of the orders of the court. Then we know that due process is being complied with. Mr. Speaker, I want to indicate clearly that if you insist and admit this statement and you allow him to make the statement, this side of the house will wash our hands off and then we'll walk out and leave you to make your statements. We'll wash our hands off because we don't believe in undermining the judiciary. We don't believe in undermining the rule of law. We will not join you to undermine the rule of law. We will not join you to undermine the judiciary. We will wash our hands off and then we'll leave the chamber.